themselves. So I've allowed guests to unmute themselves. The first hand to be up on my screen is that of Udo Gift. So Gift, kindly unmute and ask your question. And that's the president of Nigerians and Friends Society in Herotwa. So ask your.
And he had a very mysterious look on his face.
Oh my God. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Moses. Thank you, Matthew, and thank you, Mr. John, for this wonderful presentation and eye-opening section. My question is quick. I think I've sent the question already to Moses, but I'm going to ask it here so that other people can benefit from my question. I'm a second year PhD researcher at Hertford University, and I've been looking into global talent visa for a while now. And I read that after 24 months of study, I can actually apply for the visa. So my question is, what do I need to put in check? What do I have to start doing now? My second year ends in March next year. What do I need to start doing now so that when I want to put in the application in April next year, it will be swift and successful?
Great. Thank you for that question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I would have done or what I did. So first things first, go on gov.uk. That's where the first thing you want to do. And if you come here to this screen, which is now sharing, just type global talents. Okay. And what you want to do, click on this link and read everything. That's the first thing you want to do. Click on this link, read everything. So what I did was, in my case, I read every resource I can find on gov.uk about global talent. Every resource that you can find on gov.uk about global talent, I read it. Okay. And sometimes I can even tell you where to find it because I've read it too much that I now know where they are on their websites. Okay. So you want to read all of these things. Okay. And there is no publication that says you can apply when you are in your second year or first year or third year. None of that exists on the gov.uk website, right? It just tells you, first and foremost, have you have an award here or have an endorsement, okay? Now, what they say on the endorsement page would now be, do you have a PhD or you don't have a PhD? Now, but the myth around it is, if on the gov.uk it says you need to have a PhD or equivalent research experience, okay? So if you have a PhD, good and fine. Step one is done. If you don't have a PhD, there's something called an equivalent research experience on the website. So what transfers into or what translates into equivalent research experience is subjective. Okay, so it now depends on your portfolio and your evidence of research. So first things first, you want to, whatever thing you want to do, whether you're applying for the UK one or you're not applying for the UK one, you want to go on the most trusted source of information, in this case, gov.uk, and then you want to read what is on the page. Okay. Again, it tells you what are the documents you need to apply. You have all of those things there. And yeah. And then another thing you can find also on gov.uk, there is a global talents booklet, I think somewhere. Probably a guide or a caseworker guide or something. There's a booklet on that which you can download in PDF. I have it somewhere on my PC. I can find it for you if you want. And then you can read about eligibility. You can read about the type of documentation that they need, how to put it together, how to structure it, which again, it's not, I only have 20 minutes, right? So I didn't have the time to go into details of what you should be looking out for and all of that, which we can put a time together to go through it. But again, to answer your questions, first things first, go to the most trusted platform, gov.uk, read everything you can find, understand where you fall into, understand who is your endorsing body. In my case, my endorsing body was Royal Academy of Engineering. So the next thing, open another tab, and then I'm saying RENG. So you can see it's already there because I've opened it too many times. Come here, you'd have all of the global talent route and all of the information you need. Again, read everything here. So you can see it says you have a PhD or equivalent research experience, which is what I've said. So there is no requirement to say whether you are in your first year or your second year or not. They don't care about that. What they care about is, do you have a PhD? Yes or no? If you don't, do you have an equivalent research experience? Okay. Then what are the other requirements that they want? You can read about it and all of that. But yeah, just go on the most trusted platforms, get all of the information, read it, make a checklist. That's what I did. Make a checklist. So what do they want? They want recommendations. How many? 3. Okay. From who? What do you want to state on it? So I made a checklist. And as I begin to gather my portfolio of evidence, I'm checking it and I'm saying, okay, I have this recommendation. Check. I have the recommendation. Check. I have this recommendation. Check. What else do they want? Equivalent research experience. What do I put together to qualify myself as having equivalent research experience? And then put it together and I say check. So if you do that, and I believe that should give you the best guide on starting out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moses, for saying that we'll get back to you on a global talent session somewhere in the next 1 to 2 months. When you return back, we'll be back and it will just be only you on that very session. Thank you. I'll be in the chat to take out some questions. But the next person who will verbally ask a question is Ezekiel Smart. Kindly unmute and ask your question. Please, beyond Richard, we will not take any other question because we'll be far ahead beyond time. It's already 7. Ezekiel
Okay.
Smart.
Yes. Good evening. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your presentations, esteemed presenters. Okay, so I understand that this whole seminar or webinar, I should call it, is for students in the UK. But I don't know, from my own perspective, from my own side, I'm a student in France and I'm looking at transiting to the UK. And so I just want to know what my chances are. A student sustainable energy students currently right now. Just doing my M1. I still have like 1 year, 6 months left. So I just want to know what my chances are for me to get into the UK job market, maybe as through the skilled worker visa or the UK and US global talent visa. So I want to know what my chances are. Like, I'm not studying in the UK, I'm in France. No. Thank you.
Who wants to have a go at it?
I can if you want, think so.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay. All right. Sorry, who asked the question? What's the person's name?
Ezekiel.
Ezekiel Smart.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, all right. Bonjour, Ezekiel.
Bonjour, Mr. Matthew. Monsieur Matthew.
Okay, I mean, I asked the question, so you responded, then I don't have to answer back. because you've told me the one I don't understand. So yeah, Ezekiel, so when it comes to being from France, it's still similar process actually. Okay, wherever you are in the world. All right, everything you've heard today, they are applicable as long as you want to build a career here in the UK. All right. Now, for example, with the Global Talent Visa, okay, as Moses has shown you, like in the Western world, the information is out there. Okay, so you don't have to be ignorant. You don't have to look for an agency to help you to look for those information. All right. Like for example, now Gift said she heard you have to spend 2 years before. I've not seen that anywhere. That was why I was surprised when she said that. It's not there out there. It could be saying from people who think they know the right information, because you can actually fall victim of the wrong information. So, but because the information is out there, all right, go through those informations. For example, let me talk about the Global Talent Visa, right? If you want to go through that path, all right, like Moses has shown, go on that website. Which category do you belong to? What are the criteria they are looking for? How long will it take you to meet those criteria? If you're a researcher, which body do you have to get in contact with? Okay, Who should be your references? How can you make your application strong? That's what you'll be thinking about. It's all about thinking about strategy. Now, when it comes to job, okay, how are you searching for jobs? Which job platforms are you using to search for jobs? Right? Are you searching for entry level? Because if you're going to be coming from France, you're not going to be looking for entry level roles. It's not possible. Okay, you have to look for proper role. And when I mean proper role, I mean proper role. All right. Then you're not going to ask yourself, how do you now position yourself to be able to be a fit for those proper roles? Are you having conversations with people in the UK already? Are you having conversations with recruiters in the UK already? Okay. Are you joining now? Things are now global. Are you joining webinars? Like, for example, now you're in France and you're joining a webinar here in the UK. That's a good start. How often do you engage with people on social platforms like LinkedIn, most importantly? Okay, so the same principle applies wherever you are in the world. We've seen people that has been that got a job, because I used to work in JP Morgan. I've seen people who came directly from Nigeria to JP Morgan. They sponsor them. All right, that is Nigeria. Nigeria, it's kind of like a community, they don't trust us. But we're still able to sponsor directly from Nigeria. Now, talk less of you're just 1 hour or 2 hours away from us here, right? It is easier for them. Okay, they're just going to pay maybe £10 or whatever pounds for your flight to come in compared to where I'm coming from. So it is the same strategy actually, and that's what we've been talking about since morning, right? Okay. The way CV has been written in France will be different from the way CV has been written in the UK. So you need to understand that too. All right. The way you submit applications is different. Okay. Because of your interest, I'm going to give you a 1-year premium on Eastconnect. Just send your email to the organizers, and you'll be able to see all of the tools you need to be able to position yourself well here in the UK.
Okay, sorry. You said I should send
Yeah.
an email to who exactly, please? Sorry.
The organizers of the event.
Okay, okay. I
Drop
I
an
will
email.
do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay, thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much. Thank you. I'm grateful. Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Matthew, the last event you were on, which I attended, you were generous enough to give premium access to all the attendants or participants in that event. Can I
He's doing the same. He's doing the same here.
Okay, okay, okay. I'll provide the emails of all the attendants, all the attendees. I'll provide their emails as soon as the call is done. So
It means that
even
you're
if
also
you
giving
didn't,
free food.
Yes,
Moses, what did you say,
online. We're
Moses?
giving free food online. Yeah. Well, after this call, just go to your kitchen, whatever.
After this
Go
call,
to your
just
kitchen,
take,
whatever food you see, just start eating it.
what you do, take a screenshot of this. After this call, go to the restaurant and show them the screenshots. You're entitled to our premium.
But I
okay.
think if there was anything I would add to a number of the things that those two questions from Gift and from Ezekiel as well is, by all means, let's as a people, let's try and not rely on them say, please visit the official website of, especially gov.uk every now and again, especially when you're looking for visa, when you're looking for opportunities. I think there's a list of companies that can sponsor across the UK. Matthew made mention of that list of companies. Look at all of those companies, see the ones that fit into whatever industry you're looking for a role in. Before the changes in the threshold for salaries, we sponsored somebody from India. We brought staff from India. We brought staff from Nigeria into the country. And we sponsored people right here in the country. So these things happen. You just need to be the right fit, have the right attitude, believe you can do it, show up 100%. All of these things are not, I don't know how else to preach this message, really. I wish people can just get it as simple as it sounds. It's the truth. Somebody is telling you something and you think it's going against what you believe or what spend your time research. The thing Oyibo have done is they've put it in black and white. And our people say, if you want to hide it from a black man, write it down. So don't let them hide it from us. Go and read, please.
Thank you very much, sir. Gifts, kindly drop your hand. So I know I have just 3 persons left. Chi, kindly unmute and ask your question quickly before I go to the chat section.
Okay, good evening, everybody. So my question would be first, well, my questions are born out of comments people have made. So I was just thinking out loud, is for the last person that asked about France, is there a possibility that someone can find or get employed or find employment in a company that has a UK presence, say in France, and then maybe the person gets moved from France to UK? That's one. Then secondly, just as I was reading comments in the chat, somebody had said they applied for a job and they were overqualified for the job. So based off on what the person has been hearing of the stories Mr. John and every other speaker has given, the person will now tune down their CV. So, because it resonates with, I have a friend as well who has been applying for project management roles and all of that. And, he's so qualified, the certifications and all of that. And then he goes to the interview for a job, that you're overqualified or well qualified for, and then you get the unfortunately email. So what would be your advice? Do we now start tuning down our CVs, or we just keep it at that and leave it at that and then hope that the job that is ours will come to us? So that's just my question, your advice on that. Thank you.
Can I chip in real quick?
Can I go
Yeah.
first on this one?
Okay,
Yes.
okay, fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, from my perspective, what you can do is have different CV for different things. Okay, it's never too much, it's never too little. There are situations where I've toned down my CV. There are situations where I've bumped up my CV. There are situations where I've left my CV as it is, right? But again, what does overqualified means, and who is the one making that decision that you're overqualified or underqualified? I've mentioned in my case, I thought I was overqualified for it because I had the bachelor degree in project management. I did this course for 5 years. And then I did the certifications, I did everything on paper that validates me as a project manager, right? But I was lacking something, experience in the industry, which I did not have. Okay, so for me to then get experience in the industry, I took off the certifications. It was my own personal decision and goal to look for the experience. So what I did in my case, right, which might not happen to everybody, and some people still get it without having to do what I did. But in my own case, for this particular job, the industry I'm currently working now in, I did, okay, you know what, I have all of it on paper, but then the industry knowledge itself, I don't have, so to say, within the UK perspective. So I dropped all of the accolades, right? I pushed them aside. I came as an humble person, willing to learn. Okay, so I started learning. Now, in learning, I then begin to bring out the certifications I now have into the industry. So, for example, I was having a chat, okay, 3 months into the job, and they were doing a tender. Okay, part of the tender requires that they have someone in the firm who is sort of a qualified project manager, right? No one in the firm has it. I did, but it was not in my CV, so they didn't know that I have PMP, right? So I was having this chat and they were like, oh, in this tender, we needed this, we needed this, we needed this. I'm like, oh, I overheard they were having that conversation because it was not a conversation I was meant to be a part of at my level, right? So I overheard they were having this conversation and I overheard that they wanted someone who is qualified project manager, right? So they needed the certification. The person has to be a member of the firm, right? So I texted the manager. I'm like, oh, hi. I know you are not aware, but I am actually a qualified project manager. And I attached my certification to the Teams conversation, so the person can also verify it. Okay, now you can see that also then was part of what sped up my growth within the firm. Okay, so the things I had, I'm like, I don't have experience, right, in this particular field, in this particular country, because it's construction. Okay, which is quite different from what I used to do. Construction in Nigeria and construction in the UK, similar ideas, right? But they are two worlds apart, because some of the things that we don't take seriously in Nigeria, we take it overly serious here. For example, health and safety is a very massive consideration here. It's not much of a big deal. As long as you can pay for it, just get somebody to put the blocks together, and that's it, you are done. No one cares about, approvals and all of those things. So I didn't know anything about, maybe planning permissions or things like that. It wasn't a thing that you do in Nigeria to get planning permission. If you have your land, you build it, whatever you want to do on it. Nobody cares. But here you have to do plan. In fact, if you buy a house, you can do some type of moderation. You need to get planning permission to do a moderation in your own house that you have paid for. I wouldn't have known that, right, until I get into the firm to then start getting the experience. So sometimes you might think you're overqualified, but overqualified from your perspective or from the hiring manager's perspective. Okay, from the business perspective, you might actually have it on paper, but on paper does not translate to doing the actual job. Because if you then give me a project manager role, I'm there. I've gotten this job straight from my paper qualification. All right, so there's this property that's coming into the business. I've just told them, take off the roof, put this, you do that. I'll probably get arrested, right? Because I didn't know I needed the planning permission, which are basic things I should have known if I was born here or raised here. But I wouldn't know those type of things until I get experience. So in some cases, you might need to have a goal, right? My own goal was to get an experience, because I know I have the paper. If I get the experience, I can then combine it and switch into things and exponent my growth. But then I needed to, remove some things so I can get what I want to get. So it's all about what you want to achieve and how you want to go around it. So it's your strategy, your story, your life, right? But you've just got to be smart about it. Think about where you are, where you want to get to, what can get you there.